It's time for the Buddy Martin Show on a Daniel L. Hightower Wednesday with breaking news.
Yes, it's time again for Buddy Martin. Call him up and tell him what you're thinking. But be kind because he's doing the best he can.
Better, stronger, faster.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Hey, what if the voice calls while you're gone?
Take a message.
Bye.
You ready, champ? I'm ready for this my whole life.
I'm incapable of small talk. But that's why you love me, right?
Kind of intimidating to be in the presence of so many great athletes.
Good evening and welcome to the Daniel L. Hightower Wednesday Buddy Martin Show, where we have breaking news, as many of you have heard. Kyle Trask injured this afternoon in practice. Status unknown, but likely out for Saturday and maybe beyond that. We're endeavoring right now to find out more information. We'll have Edgar Thompson of the Orlando Sentinel with us in just a moment. Here's how the news came down tonight. We were at the Ocala QB Club. Mr. College Football, Tony Barnhart, was speaking, and at the end of his time, I approached him with this comment. I've known you for a long time, and I want to ask you a question. I know you'll level with me on this, okay? Look me in the eye and tell the answer. Who should be the starting quarterback Saturday for the Florida Gators?
I said in July that I thought the starting quarterback would be Kyle Trask. So I will go with that. But make sure you play Emory Jones and see what you can do with him.
Problem is, we just saw on the phone
Hold
that
on
Trask was hurt.
Hold on 1 second. I'm going to answer that question. Who do you think should be the starting quarterback? Trask. The story he alludes to is that the bulletin just came over just now. Kyle Trask was injured today and maybe lost for the season.
Did not know that.
Yeah. Hey, I want to thank you, Tony. It's great having you here, man. Great job. Appreciate it. All right, that's not news. It's broken night. The Ocala QB Club, Tony Barnhart, finding out at the same time, almost as we did, that Trask is out. This, of course, changes dynamically everything. We were playing the game of who starts next. It looked like Trask might be the guy, but we never found out for sure. And this, if true, and I'm assuming it's accurate, Thomas Goldkamp broke the story tonight of 247 Sports. And it looks like he's an accurate reporter, and looks like there will be no Kyle Trask available, which presents a very interesting question, number of interesting questions, in fact. One of them of which is, of course, who starts the game on Saturday, and the other one is, indeed, what's the future of Kyle Trask, and will Emory Jones' red shirt come off? A lot of things to consider there as we go out live now to the Renstar split screen with Edgar Thompson of the Orlando Sentinel, who's in the dark right now, but he's
I'm getting to the light.
Gradually emerging to the light.
I thought you were calling it 9:10, but we're good now.
I called you this a little bit early. You said you wanted 9:05. So anyway, good. Yeah, I mean, I just saw this story literally, an hour ago, and I texted you. You, of course, have been working on your own story, which I read just now. The bulletin about Kyle Trask. What we know is he was injured in the lower half of his body. And that's all I know, and he's obviously not going to be available Saturday, and who knows when. What's the deal, Edgar?
This isn't my story. Thomas Goldkamp and Bob Redman, who are both pretty plugged in over there, got wind of Kyle Trask being carted off the field. Thomas, I saw it. I hit him up because we're friends and was like, what's going on? I reached out to several people who could confirm it, and nobody will. They're definitely keeping this on the down low. I mean, Dan Mullen really is very, very protective of injuries, more so than a lot of coaches I've seen, to be honest. And it doesn't bother me as long as that's his thing and you know it, because then it's like doesn't lead to frustration. He made it clear last recruiting signing period. National Signing Day, I asked him straight up, I'm like, what's your philosophy on revealing injuries? He goes, I'm not an injury guy. And I said, okay, now at least we know now. So leaks on injuries from that over there are frowned upon.
Well, here's what we found out from his dad. One of our members, Joe Fulford, says, and we have Kyle Trask's dad is on the Gator Nation Kingdom page.
Well, he's probably on the message board for 24/7 Sports then, probably.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that, but he posts here sometime. Here's what he said on Twitter, according to Joe Fulford, says Trask's dad tweeted out that he suffered a foot injury and is out for the remainder of the season. So let's go ahead and play Jones. That's what Fulford says, one of our members. And our guys are, kind of plugged in, and they do follow him on Twitter. And
what's his Twitter handle?
I don't know. Maybe they can put it.
I follow Kyle Trask's dad.
Yeah, well, Kyle Trask's dad is on my Facebook. He's a Facebook friend of mine. He posted pictures there the night before last. Some beautiful pictures, by the way.
Well, what's his Twitter account?
We're going to find out. We're going to ask Joe Fulford. If he will, Joe, what's his Twitter account? We'll look it up. And others, by the way, will probably be able to. We found out good information for our members here.
No, for sure. Look, people are. I'm the last person somebody like UF is going to alert on stuff like this.
All right, Len Tyndall says
this comes from somebody who's at practice or a training room guy. Someone
knows.
But
if the dad says something, you got to. Len Tyndall says it was a Facebook post from Michael Trask. All right, Michael Trask is a Facebook friend. I haven't seen him on my Facebook anywhere, but I will look and see because generally speaking, he's on the Gator Nation Kingdom page and he's on my show page. So let's look him up and see if we can find him on that. Len, if you're doing that, would you check that out for me? Let me know.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Here it is. Chad Rich says Trask65. Trask65, according to our coordinating producer, Chad Rich. Trask65.
I know Chad.
Yeah.
I was talking to him the other day.
Yes, good man. Because yes, you did. So Trask65. I guess we could easily look that up ourselves and find out. So
Kyle Trask's dad's like a year older than I am. Funny.
Well, he's could be my son, so there you go, or my grandson almost. But anyway, I mean that's let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Well, first of all, emotionally, it's a terrible thing to happen to this young man and this family. They were so happy.
He doesn't have anything on his Twitter account.
No. Facebook. He said. They said Facebook. He said Facebook apparently. Okay. Michael Trask. But maybe he didn't. I don't know. Somebody said they saw it. All right, here's Michael Trask. I'll look at this right now.
Go ahead. What do you got, man? Well, it doesn't really matter.
Right here, all he says is 2 days ago. No. It's not on nowhere here on his Facebook page because I'm a Facebook friend, and it doesn't say anything here. Here you are. Michael Trask.
I'm looking at it.
Says, I'm sad to say that Kyle was injured while doing a trick play where he hands off the running back and goes out for a pass. The throw to Kyle was low. When he planted his foot to catch the pass, he felt a pop. Unfortunately, he fractured his foot and will be out for the season. Just a freak injury. The good news is it will be a minor surgery. He'll be 100% for the spring ball. Thank you for the well wishes and support for Kyle. We appreciate it very much. Continue to pray for Kyle.
Where is this, buddy?
This is on Michael Trask's Facebook page.
I'm looking at his Facebook page right here. I don't see anything.
Well, I'm looking at it right here. Are you friends with him? I've got it right here under Michael Trask. It's the third item from Marble, Texas. And there's 2 items down. And right there it is. And so that's the deal. I will try to.
I don't have any idea where you're reading this.
I'm looking on his Facebook page, not Twitter.
I'm on his Facebook page,
buddy. Well, I'm reading it. I'm reading it right off his Facebook page. Anyway.
Okay. Well, buddy, I got to be honest, bud. Mm-hmm. I got to go write this, man.
It's okay.
I can't sit here and do this. I got to write that.
That's understandable, and I'll let you do that. No problem.
But I mean, here I don't understand why I can't read this.
Well, I'm going to send it to you, Edgar, right now. Off his Facebook page.
All right, when you send that to me, I'll give you 10 minutes, but then I got to roll.
No, do what you got to do, man. I know you got to. If you got to do this,
come on, let's talk. I mean,
all right. Well, let's maximize what we got here at the time.
Yeah.
Let's talk about. All right, this is obviously now his dad's confirming. What does this mean? What's next? I mean, how do we figure this out?
Definitely text me, cut and paste that and text it to me, please.
All right, you want me to email or text it?
Just text it.
I already had it ready to send an email. Okay.
All right, email, whatever.
All right, okay.
That's perfect.
That's just, I already got it up. Already cut and pasted it.
I think, you know, what it is sometimes you can't read all the content on a Facebook page unless you're friends with the person.
That could be it. Yeah,
that's what it is.
Yeah,
I'm not a huge Facebook user, but that is what it is.
Yeah, well, that's I emailed it to you. You got it there. So it's a foot injury, freak play. That's odd, and that means the young man doesn't get the chance. It just seems like it's not in the cards to him to ever. Here it is, right here. It's in a.
I got it.
Okay, you got it. And also from Lynn Tyndall, he sent it in a to me, and took a picture of the screen too. So anyway, it's Michael Trask.
Thanks, guys.
Would it be on it? My guys are always on it, without a doubt. And here's the thing: my heart goes out to the family. Seemed like really nice people. They were so excited about Kyle getting his first chance, and now this, and now it's back to the drawing board for Dan Mullen. And I don't know what he was going to do, but it sounds like he was going to start Trask if he's running trick plays with him, I would think. So now, does he go back to Felipe, or does he take off the red shirt and start Emory Jones?
No. So Monday, first off, you were right about the Emory Jones thing. When's the last time we were on here? I guess last week I did praise you for that. So Emory Jones, though, that Georgia thing was like a package or whatever that Dan, I think, saw something, and he did want to get the kids' feet wet a little bit. But he made it clear on Monday a couple things. He felt that Felipe Franks was played too early, and that it shattered his confidence last year. And Dan's comment was, I don't even know how many redshirt freshmen that I've started. And so he's, I think, very opposed to playing young quarterbacks just because of confidence issues or their confidence could be compromised by struggles and, being overwhelmed. So I don't think he's ready to put Emory Jones into the fire here.
I'm going to tell you this. I talked to a major figure who's not a coach at Florida, all right, but a major figure, and a guy who was considered to be a very smart guy about quarterbacks, okay? And I can tell you what he told me. Take the damn red shirt off Emory Jones.
Now.
This is before the injury. Before the injury. He says, look around.
Thing, I was saying that a week ago or whatever, too. I feel like, why not play him?
Well, now, it was before he was hurt. This person, if I told you the name of the person, you'd say, wow. This person said, take the red shirt off of him. He said, look what Will Muschamp did 3 years ago. Took the red shirt off his quarterback, and he's played for 3 years. And at this point in time, there's too much at risk.
Yeah, but Bentley was playing early that year.
Yeah, but he was
not with 4 games.
But he took the red shirt off of him still early.
But he was playing and really thriving.
But I'm saying to you, he took the red shirt off to play him.
I get it, but he took the red shirt off in week 3 or something.
So what?
Week 10.
They could have taken the Emory Jones red shirt off with week 3 too if they wanted to.
Well, I know they could have, but they didn't probably see enough. I'm just saying to do it in week 10 is big difference than riding the kid for the whole year.
I get it. But right now, what happens if you lose do you wait till you get Felipe hurt?
Well, based on what Dan said on Monday, he's not taking the red shirt off of Emory Jones.
That was Monday.
Okay, I agree, but
and maybe he can play somebody else at quarterback. Play Felipe against Idaho. And still play only 2 games. Sometimes he could start. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying.
You're really saying to start Emory Jones?
Here's what I'm saying to you. I've had an epiphany, okay? I've come full circle. I've been staunchly supporting Felipe, and I still support him in terms of emotional support, whatever. But the bottom line is that I realized the error of my thinking last Saturday. And I looked at it, and I said this to you, maybe I didn't. I said, look at these.
I didn't see you.
Well, let me just say this. Yeah, no. Here's what I came up with over the weekend. What is the model out there right now? You tell me if this is crazy for success with the top teams. And you can tell me who the top teams are. Name them off, okay? And tell me what they have in common.
Well, it's at any level. I mean, you got a quarterback.
You changed quarterbacks. Every one of them.
Well, Tua started from the beginning.
But you changed some last year. I'm talking about.
I don't. Notre Dame did make a switch early this season.
Yes, they did.
Michigan, I don't know.
Of course, Shea Patterson.
Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, Shea Patterson. Yeah, and Trevor Lawrence. I mean,
Patterson started from week 1 though. But okay.
No, I'm talking about change from last year at the end of the year and got a new quarterback. Okay, and Tua was not a starter until this year. All right. So the bottom line was
you're saying they started the season with
they upgraded. Say it this way: they all upgraded the quarterback positions, every one of them.
What was the upgrade? What was the upgrade for Florida?
That's my point. I said the top 4 teams. The top 4 teams in the nation.
Here's what I'm saying: who would have been the upgrade?
I don't know, but that's the long term situation.
You don't have Shea Patterson, Tua.
Well, I
Trevor
get it.
Lawrence.
I know Tebow's not here. I understand that. But I'm saying this is the realization. I'm not saying they can do it now. I'm saying it's inevitable. So I've changed my thinking completely. I say if you think Justin Fields is the guy and he's out there, go get him. I didn't think that way before.
Out there for who?
Edgar, think about it. There are 2 quarterbacks there. Somebody might be gone. If the word comes out, one of them wants to leave, if I'm Dan Mullen, now I got to go look at him. Because it's a different day. It's a new way. It's not the old school thing of start one guy all the time. It's more the days of when Spurrier was yanking quarterbacks right and left. Go get yourself a quarterback. And here's why. What did Dan Mullen say about Felipe? You just said it. He said it after last week's game. He wasn't ready to play. And you say, well, why did you play? Well, that's all he had, right, at that point. And he convinced us and convinced me he could develop him. He has not been able to develop Felipe Franks. So that project is a fail, all right? Now that you realize that, you say, where do we go from here? Trask could have been a short-term solution, maybe. Emory Jones is not ready, but you got to get him ready and play him. And now you have another crisis. You don't have Trask. And down the road now, if you have a better quarterback, wherever you get him, that means the recruiting process now includes transfers. You go get that quarterback and you get him on your campus. That's how I feel now. Just like recruiting, you're looking for transfers.
I mean, buddy, it's inarguable. I mean, why would anyone argue at that point? But you're not getting Justin Fields, okay? So
I'm just using it as an example. There's
Fields not leaving.
Wait, man, Edgar, Kelly Bryant. I don't care whoever it is.
Kelly Bryant could possibly be in.
Well, I'm just saying whoever the free agent quarterback is that's going to make your program better. I don't care who you put the name in there. Someone told me yesterday it could be Jake Fromm. He may get discussed and rides Fields the guy. I mean, this is all speculation. I'm saying to you,
it's wild speculation. It's crazy speculation.
But it's true if you look at the model of success. It's getting a new quarterback.
I'm not arguing that the Gators definitely need to upgrade the position if they can do it with a high caliber transfer to do it. They're not getting either of the Georgia quarterbacks. Those kids would be crazy to leave that situation to come here. Dude, do you realize how the offensive line is going to be next year, buddy? Have you even looked at that? They're losing their entire offensive line practically this year. They're losing Ivy. Jawan Taylor is projected 2nd-round pick. He's probably going to leave. They're going to lose Fred Johnson, even though he's not very good. Suddenly you're going to have a very young offensive line, and I don't know that anyone wants to come get behind that. I mean, you can see that offensive line struggling right now. Dan Mullen's I think what's come to light in these last couple of weeks more than anything to me, I mean, we already knew Felipe Franks. I was at the gym the day of the Georgia game before we drove over with Mark Long. And I was talking to one of these guys who's a huge Gator fan. He's a lawyer in town, young guy. And he always wants to talk Gators. And he goes, what do you think of our chances? And I said, I'd be shocked if Georgia doesn't win this game. And he said, you'd be shocked? And I said, dude, Felipe Franks has been nice. He's humble. He works hard. He's just not very good. That's what I said to him. He's thrown for 189 yards on 42 pass attempts in 2 games. He couldn't hit the broadside of a barn the other day out of the gate. He wasn't close on his throws all day. He was just, it was just terrible to watch. And it's because people have figured out that if you take away those perimeter passes, the dink and dunk stuff, you press, you force him to make a read and make an intermediate throw, he's not accurate. He's not confident. And so, yeah, I mean, I think we knew Felipe Franks. The thing to me that's crazy is the wheels have come off this season suddenly just overnight. It's like they're not able to rush the passer suddenly. They're not generating turnovers suddenly. They're not making plays on special teams suddenly. It's like all these things, this plan to win of Dan Mullen's is not, it's not working. And those kind of things you really can't count on, really. I mean, turnovers and things like that. But they should not be giving up 19 to 32 on third down for one in 2 games. Missouri was winless in the SEC. It wasn't like they were, and they did get back a couple players that game. Emmanuel Hall was terrific, but God, they shouldn't be 21 points better than the Gators in the Swamp. So there's other issues besides Felipe, but yes, he's issue number one. You got to solve that. But the offensive line, he's just got a major rebuild on his hands, man. I was thinking after the 6-1 start, Vanderbilt was cause for concern a bit, but I'm like, this is a pretty good team. Now you're sitting here going, I'm seeing a lot of the warts suddenly, and the stuff that we were worried about early in the season now is coming back later. And we'll see what happens Saturday. I mean, that would not be a good game to lose. If you're Dan Mullen, you really don't want to lose to Will Muschamp in the Swamp.
Now, you got to go, but what will you write? What would be your story?
No, we can talk some more. I mean,
Right.
I got what you sent me. I can go update.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the time. We're not going to be able to update it in the paper anyway. So
Okay. All right. Well, I just want to check. So
I'm just going to put what you said in there, the Kyle Trask.
well, let's wait. Stat. That's the story. I mean, that's the source.
Huge help. It's a huge help, man.
Yeah. Well, we're here to help out you and our friends anytime we can. Well, I mean, it's an exchange. This is what is an exchange for information. There are 80 people online right now watching, listening to you. They want to know anything that you
information from what I'm saying. I think everybody's seen this.
But let's address it from the standpoint you know the team, you follow the team, you cover the team every day. Let's address it from now. You got to get in the mind of Dan Mullen and say, what do I do now?
Look, I personally agree with you that Emory Jones, I would start playing the kid this week. Not starting him, but playing him and seeing what he can do, how comfortable he is. And if he shows you enough, you start him against Idaho. And you start building this kid for the future. Are you really going to have this kid for 4 straight years as a starter? That's my question. I mean, why wouldn't you start doing that? And then let's say he falls in his face this week. Or you start him against Idaho and he throws 3 picks and you shut it down because that's his 4 games. But you at least know something and you have some good film on.
I think he's next man up this week.
Well, he's definitely next man up. I mean,
And
Kadarius Toney.
If you got to start, you got to go back.
Kadarius Toney could be the emergency quarterback.
It doesn't really get you what you need, though.
Well, here's what I'm saying. So if you move forward with Emory Jones starting this week and he shows you enough this week to start him against Idaho, and he's very good in that game, then you just say, hey, we're just going to start playing the kid because he's going to be our quarterback during those 15 bowl practices.
This is important 3 games there. I mean, this is not, aside from being millions of dollars, this is riding a ship that's gone, out of control.
There's no doubt. I totally believe these next 3 games are huge, or 2 out of the next 3. They're going to beat Idaho without whoever plays. But I'm saying, I mean, you're following me. I'm agreeing with you that start moving with Emory Jones a little this week or some or a decent amount, whatever. And if he really outshines Felipe, then keep him in the game and then start him against Idaho and let him try to handle a game plan. And then if he's good, then move forward with the kid. Play him against
FSU in a bowl game.
15 bowl practice.
Hey, look at Kyle Trask. He's never started a game still. So there's not even in high school, never started a game. His one moment in the sun, and he injures his foot. And who's to say that
he was going to start? But
who would you have started?
I'm telling you, man, the media
Hey,
consensus.
they're not running trick plays with Kyle Trask if he's not going to start. Okay?
I get it. The media consensus up here, Pat Dooley, a lot of people, I'm not going to name everyone, but Pat wrote it, is the only reason I'm naming him, felt like he was still going to stick with Felipe.
I can see that if he did it on a short leash.
I don't see why you wouldn't start Kyle Trask personally. He earned it.
He earned it, right.
I played Felipe the other day. Give him a shot.
Yeah.
That's what I felt. But I'm saying most media members felt like Dan Mullen was going to stick with Franks.
Yeah. I say now, obviously, you go to Franks and you play. You go ahead and play Emory Jones. If he plays well, you leave him in the game and try to win with him. And then the next week, you play Emory Jones. And
That's what I was saying.
And if you play both, if you win both games, you play him again, and you play him again.
Well, you play him again, and then you let him, like I said, be the quarterback during the 15 ball practices, and it's your team now, dude.
Right, exactly.
And then you go into the off-season, you're the quarterback.
Yes.
Versus all this up in the air stuff. Felipe's still thinking he's the quarterback.
Yeah.
And because if Felipe starts these next 3 games in the bowl game, he's going to go into the off-season thinking he's the quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, for some people are saying he's not going to play him. Of course he is. He's already played him. He's going to say he's going to play him 2 games. It's a matter now of which 2. And he's playing a little games with that. Like, okay, I'm not going to tell you my plans, right? What did he tell you today?
He said, I'm not going to reveal our strategy.
Yeah, right. So what do you think his strategy was going to be?
I think it's what we've been saying.
Yeah.
I mean, you and I are on the same page there.
Maybe we should be the coach. Maybe we should let him just say, we'll coach it this week. We'll take you and I'll coach it up.
I don't think I can call plays, but
I can call the plays.
Dan really also as a play caller against Missouri, I didn't understand.
No, he didn't have his best game. He did not call. Look, it was epic fail across the board, including coaching. Okay.
No, it was a terrible game.
It was really one of the worst.
Worst they looked all year.
It was a McElwain type bad. It just
It was
except
bad.
The program is still going to be in good shape. So
no, I think that Dan. I'm speaking at the Clay County Gator Club tomorrow night, and I'm going to open it up with a show of hands on a few questions.
Yeah, that's
and
always
one
good.
is and just say, hey, how many people think that Dan Mullen has done a good job in his little less than a year at Florida? I just want to see a show of hands. How many people feel like?
Don't say good. Say they've done an excellent job, because everybody will say good.
People think that he's okay. He's done a job. Anyway, I'm going to have a few questions, and they're going to be questions that I think that I agree with. That Dan Mullen's done a very good job. That the season's been at a vast improvement, despite the fact that the wheels have kind of come off. And then I'm going to ask a Felipe Franks question. I got to figure him out, but I'm going to open with some questions like that I just want to see what the general fan base kind of thinks.
Yeah.
Because, Dan Mullen, man, he was really high up on the list of every fan. And then I think after these last 2 weeks, you got some people going, that's not very good. The fan support was bad last week. And then he called the fans out after the game, which I don't think that was a smart strategy.
Right.
No, he backed off those comments on Monday.
Oh, he did do that, but
I'm sure Scott Strickland got intervened and
probably.
said, hey, you probably can't
My
do that.
friend David Moulton was on last night, and David's been around. He works with Gary Daniels and that bunch. He's seen a lot of football and knows football. And I asked him his opinion about it, and he says, I don't ever think it's smart to diss the customers. All right? Now, let me tell you one other thing. This is the other thing. And look, I'm a Mullen guy, all right? I've been singing his praises since he got there. I'm delighted that he's the guy. I think he's got a long-term future here. But nobody's perfect. And it's the old Mike Tyson, everybody's got a game plan until they're hit in the mouth thing, where you have to back up a little bit. And you look at Dan, and he did so many things right. From the time he got off the plane chomping all the way through to winning 5 in a row and everything, life is great. And then it hit the fan, and things began to change. And a couple of things happened in that most recent situation, one of which he dissed the fans. Was not a good move. That was not a good move on his part. And the other thing that concerned me was he kind of almost threw Felipe under the bus by saying he wasn't ready to play. And if he wanted to say he wasn't ready to play and that's on me, that's okay. But he didn't say it that way. I thought that was a little un-Mullen-like in that regard. And then somebody else told me, who's very, very well connected to the University of Florida, who knows football history at Florida, who knows the situation inside and out, said to me, when Mullen said, when you talk about filling the stadium up first and then winning championships, that's not how it worked back in Spurrier's day. They were selling out before they won championships, and they sold out after. And the fans didn't need a championship. They poured in there in the first part of the season, the very first season, 1990. Spurrier was selling out, and soon had a waiting list. And so they didn't have to win championships, but now Edgar, it's a different thing, and I get that, and fans are different. But so there's a lot of questions about Mullen.
That's Steve Spurrier too, dude.
What? Yeah, well, I mean, he's Spurrier. That's the thing. I mean, but he didn't have to win championships first to draw people.
I know, but he'd won a Heisman here. He has more.
I get it. More glamour. I get it. We're not all beautiful and smart and rich and whatever, except you. I mean, I'm not. But so anyway, so it's interesting. I put those things on the table just for transparency, and I'll say.
No, I mean, I just think Dan Mullen. I mean, look, we're in a different age, like you said. People have They have options, entertainment options. They have money. They have things to spend their time and money on, and it's not necessarily plunking down $300 for a family of four or more, really, when you include parking and all the other things and all the time commitment to go watch a pretty mediocre product at this point. I mean,
yes, that's true.
They were wonderful to watch against LSU, and Vandy was even some exciting football.
Can you believe they even beat LSU? I'm thinking back about it this morning, and I got to review this season because I missed something along the way. This team I saw against Missouri was not a team I remember seeing earlier in the year. They beat a very good Mississippi State team. They beat LSU. They crushed Tennessee, who wasn't very good, and they looked pretty good. And they fought Georgia to a draw for 3 quarters, and couldn't hold on. So I'm thinking, is this the same team, or do they put other dudes in there? It was like a reversal of fortunes, man. I don't get it.
You don't pressure the quarterback. You give up 11-18.
And why is that? What happened there, Edgar? Why didn't they pressure the quarterback?
Why didn't they pressure him? Because Drew Lock is terrific.
Yes.
And Missouri's offensive line is good. And they were ready for Grantham. I mean, Grantham is like very aggressive. He run blitzes. He does this stuff. They burned him on some of those. They got him on their heels. And they mixed it up, man. I mean, the balance was phenomenal. When you're giving up 221 yards rushing and 250 yards passing, you had a bad day on defense. That Michigan game last year, I remember, it was like 220.
Yeah.
And you start getting a team turned around like that, they don't know what's coming. That's what happened. They were off balance the whole day.
Let me tell you 2 things about that. I mean, see if you agree.
Well,
with
here's
me.
something too. They obviously had the wind taken out of their sails losing that Georgia game. The Gators.
Yeah.
They obviously did. They were like, "Oh my God, we're going to the playoff. Oh God, we're going to win the SEC. We're going to play Bama for the SEC title. We can beat those guys." I mean, they had to. These kids, they should be feeling that way. Hey, we're good enough to beat anyone. These were all big time recruits, most of them. They're big-time players in their minds, and some of them are big-time players in everyone's minds. But they had the wind taken out of their sails, and they came in. They didn't have an edge. Franks was miserable from the get-go, and they just weren't ready. And you go out and play a team with talent like Drew Lock, Emmanuel Hall, that dang tight end of theirs who's a first-round pick in the future, a very good offensive line, you're going to get run over.
True, but here's the thing. People got tape on you now. And when you're just using schemes, by the way, here's a post from, here it is. Okay, it's when you scheme up, which by the way Grantham did a great job his blitzes or screens. His blitzes were great all early first 5 games, but you get tape on him after a while, right? And then you went up against a quarterback who can burn you when you blitz, and now you got a problem.
Yeah, Drew Lock gets rid of the football quickly and accurately.
He says, "Bring the blitz. I'll find somebody open for a touchdown."
No, he's good, man. I mean, look, he helped his draft stock that was starting to dip with that performance. But I mean, look, man, we're hearing grumbling suddenly too. Okay,
yeah,
and this is kind of rumor mill stuff that whatever. I mean, I don't know. But I did actually ask them about it, who they'd been hearing the same thing, who's actually somewhat close to the program. Ja'Kai Polite is potentially shutting it down.
Well, I've heard that about 2 players.
Chauncey Gardner tweeted the other day.
And said he would shut it down.
No, about this business decision. And then people are like, what does that mean?
Means he's going to go to the NFL and not worry about playing college anymore.
No, and then he gets upset about it. I never said the NFL. Yeah. Right? Well, don't tweet that stuff then.
Right.
But here's the thing. Christian McCaffrey and Leonard Fournette started that thing a few years ago when they sat out the bowl games. Didn't hurt their draft stock, number 4 pick and number whatever, 11 or 12. Didn't hurt them. So who's to say suddenly you don't start taking that back into the season if you're playing for a team that's not going to get to where you thought it was going to get? And you're like, I'm going to look out for number 1. Well, my feeling on that, buddy, is you're getting a scholarship to play for these teams.
But there's no commitment to that anymore.
Those are valued.
What if they had actually a contract where you had to actually sign a contract to agree to do it, and the court of law hold it up? And that's what I thought about. Well, how come can you just walk out of something like that? Seems like that's not.
Here's my thing. You're getting a scholarship, man. Okay? You're getting an opportunity to play for this program and showcase your skills, get medical attention, coaching, treatment, all this stuff. You get a bunch of swag. You get a bunch of great things that go with that, being a popular guy with all the women and all the guys on campus.
Edgar, you have that anyway. It doesn't matter. You have that.
You got 90,000 people cheering for you. You get a lot out of that. So, look, you owe it to the program, in my opinion, to give your all to it and to help build it. Because Dan Mullen needs these guys. Like you said, these next 3 games are important. He needs Ja'Kai Polite and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson at their best because they're 2 of the 3 best defensive players on this team this season, along with C.J. Henderson. He needs them committed to the cause of, hey, we need to build this program. You need to leave this thing better than you found it. And that would be really lame for those 2 kids to do that. And I'm sure people think I'm being lame to say that because I didn't have Ja'Kai Polite's potential to earn all those millions of dollars, and I don't begrudge him for that. But he wouldn't have had that shot if he hadn't signed a scholarship as a 3-star recruit.
Now you get into deep territory, and you get in deep water, and you get. No, I know, I'm hearing what you're saying, but if it turns into a Twitter war, it's over. And you can't have that. You cannot have that, And you're right. I'm agree with you.
Twitter war. I haven't tweeted a word.
Not you, Edgar. But when the fans start tweeting with the players and to the players about shutting it down, that is not a good situation. That's very bad. It's destructive.
They shouldn't be bringing that up. I mean, those kids. I mean, look, I get where they're coming from, but you have 2 more home games to play, and there are people that paid for season tickets. And the list just goes on. I mean, you can get, like you said, you can get deep and deep and deep on all of it.
Yeah.
And I think these kids, the bowl game, I mean, people are doing that now. And maybe there isn't the obligation to that because that isn't an on-campus deal. It's an extra thing. Yeah. It's a month after the season. Right. You want to go start training, right, getting ready for the combine. Right. I get that.
All right, here's what we got to do, Edgar. We got to do this. We got to ask you 2 or 3 questions and get you out of here. And we got to go do some commercials. We've gone 45 minutes without doing one. We got to get 1 or 2 of them in. So let me answer the questions here for these people, will you? Well, Ant Machado says, to clarify, when you say shut it down, you mean quitting on the team?
Not playing.
Okay.
Not playing.
At all? Not playing hard? Not
telling the coaches and it's not in my best interest to play because I could get hurt.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Here's one.
I mean, Chauncey Gardner was in a boot after the game, so it's like, is he going to come play with a heavily taped ankle and re-injured?
Right. Is Jalen Jones underrated or is he overrated? Of course,
I don't know enough about him. But here, let me tell you one other thing.
That's a question. Yeah, I understand.
Excuse me. Ja'Kai Polite was in a red jersey too yesterday, which means he's injured, nursing something. And Dan Mullen said on Monday that a number of players are banged up. So Polite and Chauncey both could be banged up.
All right.
So it isn't just fully healthy and going, I'm quitting on the team. They might be banged up and going, man, I need to look out for number one here. I mean, Ja'Kai Polite had a shoulder injury last year that cost him the final several games.
Yeah, all right. Here's another one for you.
Jalen Jones, I know nothing about.
No, it's okay. Skip that. I got two more questions.
I did hear from a coach.
Yeah.
Okay. Third hand, this came to me from a coach, like a coach, college football coach, was at a showcase event with Jalen Jones and said he was really struggling throwing the football.
Okay. Now,
for what it's worth. I mean, that's one day.
All right. With Trask freak injury, now, this is from Keith, they are thinking about shutting it down. Well, they've already said they are. I mean, there's no question there.
Well, his dad, according to you guys,
of course he is. Yeah, exactly. Let's see if there's no more question for you. Let's see. This advice of what to do with a coach. Well, anyway, that's it for the questions.
That's fine.
Well, let's see if I had a question for you. Okay. A lot of people are angry at Chauncey for saying that. All right, listen, Edgar, thank you for taking the time, buddy. I
enjoy doing it, man. Yeah, it's good. Back and forth, I always enjoy it. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Thank you very much, Edgar. Read him in the Orlando Sentinel online. And of course, you got a podcast, don't you?
Got a podcast. In fact, we're going to do one tomorrow at 12:30. A lot to chew on.
Just remember what I said. There is the idea of a free agent quarterback out there. Just think about it, all right? Just think about it.
I'm not just – hey, look, right. I think they definitely – he's going to be looking.
All right.
He's definitely going to be looking. All right, buddy. Hey, good night, guys.
Thank you, Edgar. Appreciate it very much.
Thanks for the Trask update.
You bet, man. Appreciate it.
See you, man. Bye.
Okay. That's Edgar there, who is always good to get Edgar on. He's has always brings something. Finding out as we speak about what is going on there with Michael Trask. If you haven't heard about it, I can't put that whole thing up. I tried to put it up, but I don't think I can get it all on the screen about that. I'll try after the commercial break and see if I can get up the statement in case you missed what his dad said. Let's take a break right now, though, on a Daniel L. Hightower Wednesday. The Iron Duke will be here in a little bit. We called him in out of the bullpen, all right? I wanted to tell you about a couple of our friends, and this is one of them.
Job-related accidents create incredible stress on your finances, your relationships, and most importantly, your sense of well-being. When the adjuster is not approving benefits you're entitled to by law, you need Dan Hightower to help you understand all of your legal options. Daniel L. Hightower has been fighting for accident victim justice in Ocala and statewide since 1976. Call Daniel L. Hightower today to better understand all your legal options. 352-629-7777.
Let's see, I can tell you first more about these people. One of them is Grinders, one of my favorite places in Ocala. I go there when I want to buy clothes, when I want to talk sports, when I want to see my friends David. And they're located downtown Ocala, 405 East Silver Spring Boulevard. You can pick from a variety of really nice clothes. They have fine clothing there. That's a tradition they've had for all these years. And they have the ability to suit you up with the right kind of clothes in your price range and in your taste, your style. Like if you've got to go to a board meeting in New York City, they can fix you up. Or if you want to go to a cocktail party in Bellevue, they can fix you up with the right kind of what is a dressy casual. They can tell you. David and Brandon and the team got nice suits, nice ties. Peter Millard shirts. I love those. Those are long sleeve, colorful shirts. Drop down there and see David and Brandon and the team. Downtown Ocala, Grinders for Men. A tradition since 1962. Grinders Ocala. Call 352-629-3195. This from our friends at time to tell you about this delicious food at Mark's Prime Steakhouse and Seafood in Ocala and in Gainesville. 2 locations to serve you. And you see that delicious piece of beef. That's an actual picture. That's what it looks like. And you get some of their fine cuts of beef. And, of course, their wonderful seafood. You can get that dish on your left, shrimp scampi, among other things. They got great chicken, too, by the way. They make a special way. And, of course, they want you to have a unique dining experience. And they work hard for you to have that. They give you the finest wines, the freshest seafood, the fresh vegetables cooked just the right way. And you can have a king's feast or a queen's feast at Mark's Prime Steakhouse and Seafood. Log on there and check out their website, marksprimesteakhouseseafood.com, and look at some of the beautiful food. Also, in Ocala, if you want to call them, 352-402-0097 to check on reservations. They get very busy on the weekends, so be sure to call early. Or in Gainesville, 352-336-0077. Mark's Prime Steakhouse and Seafood. They have a goal to create a unique dining experience that will please your palate and soothe your soul. All right, we're going to see if we can go out. We'll leave that food out just for a second and go out and see if we can catch up with our friend Franz Beard and see what he's got going on. Just left him earlier tonight. We were going to hear from Mr. College Football himself, but Mr. College Football is not available because we can't get to him. We have the tape here, and we'll play it for you at some point in time. And Tony Barnhart was in today, was in the at Ocala for the quarterback club. Did a terrific job. We had a nice crowd tonight, and Tony was very entertaining and informative. He talked about the Final Four. He talked about the coaches. He talked about a lot of things. Matter of fact, I'm going to give you some of what he talked about. Here was Tony tonight in his quarterback club speech while we wait for Franz Beard. Pleased to have here tonight as the featured speaker of the year, for that matter, the featured speaker for the Ocala Quarterback Club here. And my friend, longtime friend, journalist, knows football as well as anybody and knows particularly about Southern football. There's a copy of the original right there, one of the old ones there that I put out tonight. My friend Tony Barnhart, I would say of ESPN, but he's just Tony Barnhart to me. And
can't hold a job. That's my problem.
Yes. You got a resume with a jump line or two, just like me, right?
Well, we've just been trying to stay employed, buddy. That's what
exactly. Still looking. By the way, if anybody's got any work, we're available.
Absolutely.
You see Tony, of course, on ESPN, and you read email online, as we've all been doing, and I always think of Tom Schmitz, who, by the way, will be coming tonight, who's never asked me to introduce him to anybody I've ever, not even Bradshaw or Spurrier. He said at the SEC playoffs, "Is that Tony Barnhart? I got to meet Mr. College Football."
Absolutely.
So, how you doing, Tom?
I'm doing great. I just can't believe we're into almost mid-November. You know, in the summertime, buddy, in August, when we're running around trying to do things and it's hot, we're thinking, you know, the season's never going to get here. And then it starts and we look up and Saturday will be November 10th. That's just unbelievable.
What happened? Where'd it go?
It just, you know what, you get into a routine, and particularly we're getting to be men of a certain age now, you know that, and time seems to go by a lot quicker.
We talk about it all summer because you do the show for me quite a bit every year, and probably 10 or 12 times a year. Tony grants me an audience on my Buddy Martin show as he is tonight. And we talk all summer about what if. How about this? How about this game? What's it? And it usually doesn't turn out exactly like we think. But one thing is constant: Alabama.
Alabama is a constant, and they're a constant this year. I mean, I've seen them play in person twice. Obviously, watched them the other night against LSU. That was a 29-0 game that could have been a 59-0 game
like it,
if Nick Saban wanted to do it. But that's how dominant they were. And this is what everybody has always feared, buddy. Alabama's always been good at defense and running the football. And we said, my goodness, if they ever had a passing quarterback who was effective, what would they do? Well, now we know. It's the best offense in the country.
And, they are without flaw, unless you count the extra point kicker. Other than that, they don't have any flaws. And you'll be asked tonight on the Up on the Days about this team. How good are they? I'll just go ahead and ask you now. I posted something today. Will this be the greatest of all time? People like to do that. Most time that's overrated. If this team wins out and continues to dominate like they have, and they haven't even been tested yet, you have to start thinking in those terms. Is this the greatest team of all time?
Well, we'll have to, if they just breeze through the SEC championship game, the playoff semifinals, playoff finals, if they breeze through the way they've done it, we'll have to have that conversation. I'll tell you right now, the best football team I ever saw in person was the '95 Nebraska team that beat Florida. Best football team I've ever seen, could do absolutely everything. This team throws the ball.
Oh wait, Tommy Frazier just scored again.
And 5 more people missed a tackle. So, but I think I'm not prepared to say that they are now. That this Alabama team is the greatest of all time. But if they breeze through to another national championship, we'll have to have that conversation.
I agree. I was making a list the other night trying to think of other teams. You could throw in other teams and maybe a Florida, a Georgia team in there, certainly other Alabama teams, LSU. But right now, those two teams stick out to me if they continue like that. Right. So you'll give us a scenario tonight on your whiteboard discussion, and you'll have your Final Four. Could you give us a little sneak peek of who you'll be in there?
Well, I'm gonna do a couple of things for the club tonight, buddy. I'm gonna give you the smooth and easy, calm scenario. If everybody wins, if everybody does what they're supposed to do, if all the favorites win, it's a pretty simple process. But then I'm going to give you the chaos scenario where when a couple of things happen and everything breaks loose and we have what I would believe would be one of the most controversial decisions in postseason football in the BCS college football era. Playoff era.
Can't wait, and we'll just have to tell people about it tomorrow night after you've done it. We don't want to steal the thunder from the club. Final question around here. We're talking about what happened to Dan Mullen's team, and certainly that was not what we've been seeing.
No.
It seems like after the final 10 minutes of the Georgia game, well, it was a game until 10 minutes to go, know. Then after that, it looks like things have started going the other way, and they couldn't stop the bleeding, and it was tantamount to a total meltdown against Missouri, which I'm sure caught you off guard, caught us off guard, and certainly caught Dan Mullen off guard. And where do they go from here, Tony?
Well, totally caught me off guard, buddy, because Missouri had their heart ripped out by Kentucky the week before, and you're saying there's no way they can go down to the swamp and play well. Well, what we didn't, Drew Lock played well. We knew he was a great quarterback, but where Florida goes from here is that's the thing about football, buddy. There's another game, and you have got to, when you have a disappointing performance, and that was incredibly disappointing for the Gators, you got to get ready to play the next game, and don't let that game beat you twice. And South Carolina is a team that has a knack for winning close games, and you think Will Muschamp would like to come in here and win? Do you think? Yeah.
Even with that banged up secondary, I'm sure it'll be a test. And by the way, speaking of going fast, apparently it's already Christmas. Look behind us.
I saw that.
I mean, already going, wow. We were just talking about summer and it's Christmas, but I'll just go ahead and say Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, buddy.
Thanks for coming, man. Appreciate it.
Good to be with you.
Tony Barnhart, Mr. College Football. Meanwhile, I want to tell you about Center State Bank, one of our sponsors, Center State Bank Tuesday. They're known as a bank that's involved in the community. As you can see, their beautiful building there. If you talk about the art gallery on the second floor, we talk about the world-class service they have, their long-term horizon on finances, their relationship banking, and their faith and family approach. They're also a bank with 30 Florida counties and 82 locations, and they're centered on community and customer service there. So check it out. Go to CenterStateBank.com. or call them in Ocala at this bank at the 352-368-6800. If you want information about savings accounts or whatever, or checking accounts, they can help you right out right there. So just remember, they're all about our community. Center State Bank, centered on community and customer service. And tonight at the Ocala QB Club, we were very happy to announce our list of final 8 for the semifinal group for the Scott Brantley Trophy. And congratulations. That, by the way, will be posted, and we'll have it online tomorrow night. Meanwhile, congratulations to Tucker Woods. Great job by Chad Rich, by the way. He does all this work for us. Thank you, Chad. You're irreplaceable. Tucker Woods plays football for the Villages, and he was named Player of the Week of the Scott Brantley Trophy. He also subsequently is one of the final 8. We've got the list, which we'll post online tonight. Some of it might be already up there. He's a senior captain who led the Villages to his first ever undefeated season, 10-0 in school history, and they beat previously undefeated team, and doing so, the first Academy of Orlando. They beat them 28-6. So congratulations to Tucker. He's first team all-academic, also with a 4.7 GPA, a fine young man, one of the many that we've got involved. When it comes to the Scott Brantley Trophy, we'll announce tonight, and we think the date now will be set for March 12th over at the location of the Riley Arts Center. We have a big announcement coming about who will be speaking there. It's a huge celebrity. All that is good. It's all happening, and we look forward very much to these next few weeks and months. Appreciate all the great job done by Todd Duffy's group. So appreciate that. All right. We're going to go back to our business now. Your comments. Pleased to have here tonight. We've said about all we can say. I do have the statement from Kyle Trask's father. We can't assume everybody knows it. If anybody has the ability to post it, I don't think I could post it from here and put it up there online. That would be great, and get the whole statement. And then and let's just let people know who have not heard. We're not just irresponsibly putting out news. We are telling you about what is said. I don't think it's fake news, Keith. Not when Michael Trask is, by the way. Number one, it was reported by Thomas Goldkamp, all right, who's a very good reporter, 247 Sports. I know him personally. Secondly, also by Edgar Thompson of the Sentinel, who confirmed it with Thomas Goldkamp. Number two, Michael Trask is on the Gator Nation Kingdom, a member here. And he would, we know who he is. We have his Facebook account, and he is on here, and he posted it. All right, and I have the exact wording of it, which I read earlier. So it's definitely, not fake news. Maybe Keith says he's just kidding. I just hate that term anymore, fake news. There's so much stuff that is fake. So someone out there, if you got that complete statement and you can post it online there, go ahead and do that. And we'll get back to the exact statement in a minute. I'm going to try to get the Duke, the Iron Duke on here, and see if we can't talk to him about what's going on. He was there tonight at the Ocala QB Club as my guest. France was. John Brantley was there. By the way, word out to Scott Brantley. He's under the weather tonight and not feeling well, so all the best to Scott. It's been a rough go here recently, so we want to make sure that he's better tomorrow. He has some good days and bad days. He's been good lately. A little bit of a setback tonight, not feeling really great. Let me read this now while we call fans. And let me read this if you didn't hear it, all right? Gator Nation, I'm sad to say that Kyle was injured today in practice while doing a trick play where he hands off to the running back and then goes out for a pass. The throw to Kyle was low And when he planted his foot to catch the pass, he felt a pop. Unfortunately, he fractured his foot and will be out for the rest of the season. Just a freak injury. The good news is that it will be a minor surgery, and he will be 100% for spring ball in 2019. Thank you for all the well wishes and support for Kyle. We appreciate you very much. Continue to pray for Kyle's recovery. Let me just say this, by the way. This Trask family is a class family. All right? Those of you who've been seeing how he's been following this, and we've been following him. I really like the way the kind of classy people. You didn't hear them whining and complaining about his son not playing. You didn't hear you. They supported the Gators. They just were a terrific family, and I feel for them right now because it's bad enough for your son to get hurt anytime, but it's really terrible when it's time to step up, and he has a chance to maybe play. And I really feel bad for them. A very nice young man. Just feel bad for him right now. I know a lot of us are more worried about our team and whatever. Sometimes you have to think about the individual. That's what we try to do here every now and then to separate us from other things and people. We do want to try and be sensitive to the fact that they're human beings first, okay? And so just remember that when you talk about, I don't know what will come good out of this, but hopefully at some point something will. And for some reason, Francis' phone is not answering. His Skype number is not answering. So I'm going to have to call him and talk to him on my cell phone tonight. He's not picking up. I don't know what it is. And back to the Trask. Imagine the disappointment of the young man finally having a chance to start a game. And I think he would have started. And then have this happen where he not only doesn't start it, but he's injured and lost to the season. It's just tragic. It really is. And I feel bad for him. Meanwhile, there is that issue of the fact that these Florida Gators have finally got to find a quarterback somewhere, don't they? And you heard us talking earlier with Edgar. Edgar, and I agreed that Mr. Beard, friends, friends, I've got you. Don't call me on FaceTime. Call me on Skype, okay? Your Skype phone's not answering, okay? Thank you. Yeah, I'm trying to reach him and he's not getting him. So, so that's the deal. We certainly do hope all that works out. Like I said, all right, Francis, let's see if we can get you up here. Boy, I tell you, we got all kind of issues tonight with these things. It's good to see you. Thanks for coming down to the quarterback club. Didn't know when we got there we're going to be dealing with this story.
Are you seeing me? Are you seeing me?
I got you. I just got to get the screen split right.
All right.
Mm-hmm. We got you. You're somewhere. Anyway, we'll figure it out. Franz, suffice to say, a bit of a shock there tonight. And certainly not something we expected to happen when we went to the quarterback club, Have you had a chance to think about this at all? And what is your take on it?
Well, I kind of agree with something we talked about earlier, and like it or not, Emory Jones may have just lost his red shirt.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to now. Felipe Franks could play all the games and do well and so forth like that, but you can't count on that. You can't go into these games with just one quarterback, for one thing. And I just have to tell you, Emory Jones has to be ready to play. They're planning to play him in 2 more games anyway. They may have to play him in more than this. We got to have a cure for the common offense, and right now the offense is very, very common and not doing very well. And if you're gonna go down in flames, you might as well go down in flames, getting ready for next year. So I think Emory Jones may have, like it or not, that red shirt may have to be burned, and he may have to play.
I was talking earlier with Edgar Thompson about the methodology of this and how to make it work. And, what do you do? And we agreed kind of that the best thing to do would be to go ahead and start Felipe and bring Emory Jones in the game early. And if he does well, leave him in there. We said, okay, if he does well there, you start him against Idaho. And if he does well there, you start him against FSU and you pull that red shirt, And because look at what's at stake here. You got an awful lot at stake. And now look, you can say those red shirt years all you want to. Bottom line is, look what happened to Kyle Trask,
Oh,
There's
absolutely.
no guarantee there. So
there are no guarantees, and I think this kid is enough of a competitor. He's probably been sitting there chomping at the bit anyway and thinking, what's a red shirt? I want to play. He's probably gone along with Dan Mullen's suggestion. Look, I want to get you ready for next year. I want to get you bigger, stronger, faster, etc. He's a team guy, so he's probably bought in exactly to what Mullen has said. But being that he is a competitor, my guess is he's been waiting for this opportunity and saying, okay, I'm ready. Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play.
All right, so there's not been a hard luck player like this at Florida in a while, but I was just saying, thinking of the Trask family, and they have been nothing but class all the way through. And to have this, and Michael Trask put some really wonderful pictures of his son on Facebook from the game the other day. Really nice photos, and he was so happy to have some game pictures to put up there. And I know anticipating that he was going to start, and that was, we don't know for sure, but it looks like that would be the situation. And now this, and not only does he get injured, he gets injured, and he still has never started a football game. How uncanny! It's almost like a jinx. And again, some people say, well, what's with the Florida quarterbacks? Are they all jinxed? Because we had a 9-year run, friends, and now we're seeing Will Greer, jump up and down, and stories about him. I read a story today about him, which by Matt Hayes, that said basically he was told to leave, and said one of the coaches who coached with McElwain said McElwain used that as an opportunity to ditch him and go after somebody else. So anyway, what is with this plague on quarterbacks, friends?
Well, I've wondered the same thing. How could it be, for example, that Jeff Driscoll and Jacoby Brissett could be in the National Football League, neither one of them having finished their career here at Florida? How could it that Johnny Brantley went from the can't-miss kid to a kid that couldn't get it, he was done. By the time he was finished, by the time his career was over, he was done. His football career was done. How could it be that Will Greer comes here, the number one high school quarterback in the country, and then Old Yeller runs him off? Now, granted, Will Greer made some mistakes. This isn't completely on McElwain.
Yeah, but you can read the story. But read the story. The story is that he just ran him off regardless.
But that's exactly correct. The point is, he wanted to stay. He made the mistakes, admitted the mistakes. He wanted to stay, but Jim McElwain, it's almost as if Jim McElwain blamed the previous year on Will Greer. And it just goes to show more arrogance of a really rotten hire. A guy that Jeremy Foley did a lot of smart things in his career as the Florida athletic director, but sheer stupidity is the only thing you can equate to hiring Jim McElwain, a guy that should have never been a head coach at this level. Wasn't ready, couldn't handle it, arrogant, whatever. But you look at that, my goodness, I'm just befuddled by it all. And here we come in with Dan Mullen, who's kind of, been, playing with the cards he's been dealt with while trying to get a guy ready for next year. And then all of a sudden this. It's like the old expression snake bit. Tell me that doesn't apply to this team.
Yeah. There's a lot of conversation going on right now in the chat about players. And, there's a tweet that came out by Chauncey Gardner Johnson. By the way, and Chauncey is becoming rapidly becoming one of my favorite players this year. I liked the way he played. I liked his attitude, his leadership, his promise he was going to get better at tackling. He did all that. But something disconnected someplace the last couple of weeks. And Chauncey didn't have his best game, but then on the other hand, he had plenty of company. And something he tweeted out after the last game where he said something about to a fan, basically said, "Don't get me pissed off or I'll shut it down." Now, the reports of him being in a boot after the game. And we know Chauncey is going to be a high draft choice, or at least a draft choice. I'm assuming second or first round in the NFL if he continues to play well. But now there's some banter back and forth here about exactly what Chauncey said. And I guess his dad got on here a little bit earlier. His mom, of course, is talking about it. I met his mom when she was in Gainesville. And really, they're all defending him about how he's working hard and playing. But I think the whole issue is here. It's not Chauncey's effort. He's given a great deal. He's disappointed. Who knows if there's friction on the team? I heard there was an altercation, maybe not involving him, but after the game. But there's some bad blood now on the team when you start losing. And I hope Chauncey goes out in style because I like the kid. I think he's upped his game. He's trying hard. He's got a future. But unfortunately, when you start losing, all kind of things get said. And now, with all these issues of communication, and we just talked about Will Greer being one, what went on there, and social media makes it worse. I sure hope they can hold this thing together and get the hell off social media.
Well, social media is a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because coaches can get on social media and do things. They're not. For example, a coach can only make a certain number of phone calls, and phone calls are monitored. Social media is fine and dandy. Coaches can use social media, Twitter and things like that, and Facebook, to get out messages to kids that they couldn't get otherwise. That's the blessing part of it. The curse part of it is kids get on there, and being that they're 18, 19, 20 years old, things are said that shouldn't be said. And it comes back to bite you in the butt.
Yes, it does. It does. Anyway, who would have thought, friends, after all these past few weeks of a honeymoon that we've all had, that we'd be at this place right now?
Well, the thing about it is if we had said after the Kentucky game that they would be sitting 6-3 at this point of the season, we would have, and somebody had said, "Look, I'll give you $100 to take 6-3 right now," we would have grabbed that $100. Wouldn't have questioned it. The problem is they had those good games with back-to-back with Mississippi State and LSU. Had that nice comeback win at Vanderbilt. And maybe we should look back to that Vanderbilt game and the fact that they got behind 21-3 to a vastly inferior ball club as when things started falling apart a little bit. But just the same, they are farther along right now than what we thought they were going to be after that Kentucky loss. They're 6-3. They're 3 wins away, 3 winnable games away from being 9-3. I would have taken, if you had told me at the beginning of the year, take your chances or 9-3, I'll give it to you either way. What would you do? I would have taken the 9-3 in a heartbeat. Yeah. We got to thinking that 11-1, 10-2 might be possible after that LSU game, but as we've seen, sometimes it just doesn't all work out that right way. I want to, again, emphasize the fact we're dealing with 18, 19, 21, 22-year-old kids, and they don't all get on the same page all the time. And we're not sure how many holdouts from the McElwain era, the country club, let's just call it the country club era, because from everything I can gather about McElwain's 3 years here, it was run like a country club. There wasn't a lot of discipline. There wasn't, you didn't have a strength and conditioning coach that held people accountable, et cetera, like that. And so I look at you got guys that I think that are holdouts from the country club era, and it's really starting to surface now. I think it's time. I think that Dan Mullen probably sees the same thing. And I like to think that he's going to put his foot down and say, okay, guys, it's called my way or the highway. You either get in and get it done the way I want you to do it, or else it will be remembered next year.
All right, fans, we've got about 60 seconds. Tell me where they go from here.
Well, first things they have to decide is it worth it to burn the red shirt on Emory Jones?
And you say?
I say you got to take that chance. You have to tell him if Felipe plays well, we'll hold your red shirt. But if he doesn't, you're going in there. That's what I think.
Francis, I appreciate you coming on late minute, last notice, and also coming down to Ocala QB Club tonight. You had a lot of fans there. People talking about they enjoyed your columns. It's always good to have you here. And I thought Tony did a nice job.
Tony was great. Tony's always great.
Yeah. And so what are you writing about, by the way?
Well, there's a certain quarterback situation at the University of Florida.
Oh, yeah? What's happening there? I don't know. I haven't heard.
Yeah. Well, and I'm going to ask the big question, and I'd like to see a lot of people give us some feedback.
Okay. Ask
that is this Alabama team, if they run the table, are they going to go down as maybe the greatest of all time?
Well, that was exactly my question to Tony Barnhart tonight on the program. I taped it earlier. And he says, I would think they would. And he said, the other team I think, as I've seen like this, is, guess who?
Nebraska 95.
Just like you and I have always said, the greatest team we ever saw.
I put Nebraska 95 there. And I got to tell you what, I think it was the 87 Miami team with Jimmy Johnson would go there as well, because you look at the guys there and 2001 Miami with basically, I think, 45 guys that ended up getting drafted off that ball club. But those teams right there, this Alabama team, if they run the table, certainly will rank with them or maybe even vastly superior to them. They're the best. I'm almost of the opinion right now with the way that defense is starting to play that they're going to go down as the greatest of all time.
All right, Francis, good stuff as always. I'll talk to you on Friday. All right, we'll get to talk about hoops a little bit. Wasn't very pretty in Tallahassee. So
ugly is as ugly does.
All right, thanks, Franz. Franz Beard, the Iron Duke, as always. Thank you. All right, that's going to wrap it up for us tonight. GNK, what a night, huh? Wow, busy. There'll be lots of stories here over the next couple of weeks. Hopefully some good. I think it's important to clarify. Patty Johnson is a little upset some of the things are being said. It's very hard. You got to be careful about speculation. And we're good at that on social media. And sometimes I think social media lives for that. So be careful with that. And remember, these people are all families, individuals, and they are, they're human beings. And when you speculate and put your opinion in there, remember you're going to have to, you need to answer for what you say. And I hope I can always answer for what I say. When I'm wrong, I hope I can say I'm wrong, and I'll take my medicine. But let's be careful on there when we start talking about rumors and making suppositions that may not be true. Anyway, love you all tonight. Thank you for coming on. Thanks for all the good help of getting the information, particularly Lynn Tyndall. Lynn, thank you, buddy. You're always on it, posting stuff. It's I think Lynn's birthday this weekend. I hear there's a party going on, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to. Maybe I'm not invited. So anyway, Patty, I'll be in touch with you. We don't have any way to get you on the phone line, but let me work on that, and I'll get back to you. All right? Text me if you can, Patty. Thank you. Good night, G&J. You appreciate it.